Welcome to the Rank King Show, where music, movies, and more are discussed and ranked for your listening pleasure. And now, your host, Billy. All right, are you as excited as I am today? Today we are doing the discography, the top 10 albums from Scotland's own Teenage Fanclub. Teenage Fanclub, if you're not familiar, is a jangly pop garage rock sensation that came out of Scotland with their debut, A Catholic Education. The following year, this band that should have been way bigger than they ended up being, commercially speaking, came out with their major label debut album on David Geffen Records, Bandwagon-esque. And the album was hailed as Album of the Year from Spin Magazine, over Nevermind from Nirvana. And they were on the same record label, and they just did not get the promotion and the backing because the kind of music that Nirvana did, they kind of went that direction. So really, this band might have been at the level of a Nirvana in terms of popularity in this country, might have taken music a different way if it wasn't for that pesky band Nirvana. So, but the nice thing is the longevity of the band. They're still making records. They're putting out quality stuff. They never did stop putting out quality stuff. They've been very derivative of bands like Beatles, The Byrds, Big Star. You take those bands, put them together, and you kind of got somewhat of an idea of the direction Teenage Fanclub's music goes. So we're going to rank the top 10 albums right now, starting with number 10. All right, at number 10, I have 2010's release, Shadows. The album is a good record, but it seems a little slow at times, drags a little bit. Baby Lee's an excellent song. When I Still Have Thee, those are two songs that pop out. Good album. Nothing that they put out is bad, and there's some great songs on some albums that I think aren't fully complete, but those two songs really shine, and the album's good. So at number 10, I have 2010's Shadows. All right, at number 9, I have an album that I always think should be ranked higher on my list, but then when I try to rank it higher, it always ends up being kind of placed right where it's at just because of other albums. But at number 9, I have 2016's release, Here. The album features songs like I'm in Love, Steady State, Thin Air, lots of good songs, and it's a very bright album compared to some of their other ones put out around this time. But it's still an album that I'd have to place at number 9. So at number 9, Here. At number 8, I have 2005's release, Man Made. Man Made is a good record. It has one of their catchiest songs ever written, It's All in My Mind. The song is so catchy, and there's a lot of songs like that from Teenage Fanclub that it's just so catchy and melodic and poppy that it automatically grabs you from the first listen. On this particular album, that song really sticks out to me. Also, Time Stops, Save, lots of good songs on this record. So at number 8, I have Man Made. We are at number 7, and number 7 on my list is 1990's debut album on Matador Records, A Catholic Education. Teenage Fanclub was a very noisy, muddy, kind of pre-grungy band. And on this label, there was a lot of those kinds of bands that were very grungy. And they came out with this record, and it was very muddy, but the songs were very melodic and totally different than anybody else was really doing at that time. Very melodic. But it was like you mixed Mudhoney with the Beatles, and you got Teenage Fanclub. One of their greatest songs, in my opinion, Everything Flows, A Catholic Education, Too Involved. I love that song. I always love the lyrics. We never talk about anything if it's too involved. Love that song. And the album's a must-have in any Teenage Fanclub's fans record collection. So at number 7, I have A Catholic Education. All right, here we are at number 6. And at number 6, I have 1993's album, 13. When it was released, it was not promoted well, I could tell you that, at least in the United States here. But when I heard the song Hang On, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. They're going to keep doing what they did on the first record, And then you heard The Cabbage was on next, and then Radio, and I was like, wow, this is another great, fantastic album in the same vein as their last album. And then all of a sudden, it went into a lot of what sounded to me very unfinished tracks, very disjointed, and actually very Big Star-esque, not only with the disjointedness and the unfinishedness sounding songs, but also with the songs themselves, very introspective. A song like Tears Are Cool, fantastic song. But I have to place it at number 6 on the list. So at number 6, I have the album from 1993, 13. All right, now we're into the top 5 Teenage Fanclub albums in their very long discography. So at number 5, I have their latest record from 2021, Endless Arcade. Endless Arcade sounds to me trying to change up maybe some of their formulas, and the album contains songs like The Sun Won't Shine on Me, Home, very good record. And at number 5, I have their latest, Endless Arcade. Can you believe we're at number 4? I can't. But at number 4 is 2000's Howdy. On this tour, I attempted to go see them, and I got tickets, and I was really excited. And I drove through rush hour traffic to get down to Philadelphia, the Theater of the Living Arts. I get there, and the show was canceled. And I was so brokenhearted and disappointed, and I was probably cussing all the way on the way home, and I didn't even want to listen to Teenage Fanclub for a little while. I was just so mad because I didn't have any warning that they were canceling. This is pre-phone, pre-instant messaging, and things like that. So it was disappointing. And also, I had to buy the album as an import because it wasn't released in the United States on a regular label when it was released originally. So I paid like $40 for the CD. So it was really a double whammy for me. But I was such a big fan, I was going to do it. And I got the tickets, and it's upsetting that I wasn't able to see that show. I was so looking forward to it. But anyway, 2000's Howdy. Let's talk about it. Some of their greatest songs. The Sun Shines From You, my favorite song on the record, hands down. Dum Da Dum. If I Never See You. Great songs. The album's good from start to finish. Those songs pop out to me right away as my favorites. Talk to Me Tomorrow, they might be different, except for The Sun Shines From You. That'll always be my favorite song on the album. Love that song so much. And it's a great album. It's a sore subject with me, but guess what? It's my number 4. Top 3. What are they going to be? Well, let's find out. At number 3, I have 1995's Grand Prix. I remember the day it came out because I bought it. Went down to my local record store and couldn't wait to get it. Took it home. It was on CD. Put the CD on, and it just sounded so good and so full and fresh and complete, unlike 13, its predecessor. And the album was full of solid songs from start to finish. My favorite songs on the record, Verisimilitude. And it's so funny because it's such a long word, but that's my favorite song on the record, Verisimilitude. And it was nice because I got a new word in my vocabulary. And I don't know when I'm going to ever use it. It's just ridiculous, but it's a great song, and I love that song. Say No, Going Places, I Gotta Know. The whole album's solid from start to finish. The production is fantastic. Might be their best produced album, in my opinion. It's a great record, and that's number 3, 1995's Grand Prix. Down to the top 2 Teenage Fanclub albums ranked for you, and we're on to number 2. Number 2 is 1997's Songs from Northern Britain. Planets, Speed of Light, and my favorite song, Your Love Is the Place Where I Come From. I love that song. That's top 5 Teenage Fanclub songs of all time. Maybe. See, I might have to recant that because of my number 1 album, which I'll explain in a second. Just a solid album. Songs from Northern Britain. They experimented with a lot of different sounds than they had from their last album, Grand Prix. And it didn't get any kind of promotion in this country, and I don't remember them even touring in this country for that album. But what a good record. And of course, I've always been a devout Teenage Fanclub fan. First time I ever heard them, which I'll be talking about in a minute, I have been hooked, and I always want to hear something new, and I'm always looking forward to when an album comes out, and I'm never disappointed. So they're a solid discography to have in your collection. So at number 2, 1997's Songs from Northern Britain. All right, here we are at number 1. What is that number one? Anybody that knows Teenage Fanclub knows that their number one album of all time, hands down, no dispute whatsoever, Bandwagon-esque. Bandwagon-esque, what a triumph, literally. It's one of my favorite albums of all time, let alone Teenage Fanclub albums. There is not one bad song on the record. Every song is amazing, and I recanted before when I was talking about that last song on their other album that it's in my top 5 Teenage Fanclub songs. I had to stop because every song on this album is in my top 5, even if there's 11 or 12 songs or whatever there is. Every song is my top song from Teenage Fanclub. I had first seen them on MTV's 120 Minutes, which is where you went to hear music that wasn't Milli Vanilli on the radio. You went to MTV's 120 Minutes. That was on late nights in the States, Sunday nights from like 12 a.m. to 2 a.m., and you listen to college radio. I saw this video, and it was the song Star Sign. Star Sign was the first song that I had heard from Teenage Fanclub. And the next day I went down to my record store and I bought this cassette. And when I brought it home, I was so surprised that every single song on the album was fantastic. Every single song. And I love the production of this album. It might not be their best produced album, but for what they were doing, I think it kind of was. And it was dirty, yet it was melodic. And the songs were short, sweet, to the point, and they had so many chords in there that other people weren't using at the time. You had a little bit of the Rolling Stones kind of feel into it, the Big Star, the Beatles, definitely. Just every single song. You go down the track list from beginning to end. One of my favorite songs is actually the last song, which is an instrumental, Is This Music? It was just such a good ending to that album. I can't, every single song on the track list, is fantastic. And it's definitely my number one, and it's going to be yours too, because you don't have a choice. But the number one album for me in the whole discography of Teenage Fanclub is Bandwagon-esque. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And please, if you disagree with me, let me know. I mean, you're wrong, but please let me know. And if you agree with me, let me know. Just comment below. Also, if there's any band that you want me to rank the discography of, please let me know. Thank you so much for listening and or watching, and I will see you next time.